Just a few seconds. Yes, we are live. We are live. Hello, this is Bitcoin Libertarian, and here I am again with my friend Jemmy, Gem Crypto. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me again.
Nice. Thanks for having. Thanks for coming, for sharing your knowledge with our audience. So I have today 3 topics to discuss with you. I think that we are not going to talk about the price of Bitcoin because I think it's still flat since last week that dropped under 90K, and there are some issues going on. I want to discuss. Let me share the slides that I have to discuss today. Here, share. I want to discuss 3 topics, and let me put the presentation. The first topic that I want to discuss, and I want you to give us your opinion, is this what happened last week, that following Polymarket, there is 78% chance the US government is shutting down. Donald Trump warned that without border funding, the government stops. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time we experienced that. Actually, like even last time during Donald Trump's presidency, we experienced that years ago. Now this is actually a second time in his second term. So more likely it's going to be a partial shutdown. So it's not going to affect like all the services, like the non-essential stuff like the national parks or like certain regulatory approvals maybe slow down, or maybe when it comes to the regulation, especially for crypto stuff, maybe it slows down. There's a delays a little bit, but like I mean, we experienced that before, so it's not like impossible we go to another shutdown again, because like Polymarket is usually spot on with this kind of stuff. We know there are whales activity. They would pull trades on Polymarket just 15 minutes before Donald Trump posting something on Truth Social. So yeah, I mean, it's possible. But again, like we kind of experienced that the longest shutdown already. So yeah, I feel like we are kind of immune to that. It's just going to be another shutdown. Like the markets are quite used to it.
Do you think that this can affect the prices of Bitcoin and other stocks?
Yeah, I mean stocks. So U.S. stocks is very is I don't know how to say, but it's very funny and weird, and very overvalued, and it has been overvalued and not trading to its fundamentals for years, yet it's still reaching its all-time high because there is a full backing from the entire government, from billionaires just like gathering around and during the dinner table think of strategy of ways to push up the market. So like the S&P 500 in a way is not trading, it's not making any sense for its all-time high. So it's very difficult to use like a typical analysis mindset when it comes to S&P 500. But this is just my own opinion and what I've witnessed so far. And especially when it comes to Trump account, I'm not sure if you heard of that. So the newborn babies in America, they're going to get $1,000 to invest into the index, so the US index, so S&P 500. And this is a strategy pulled by, of course, initiated by Donald Trump. So that's called the Trump account. So Donald Trump would approach all these billionaires in the US, and this is just my way of making sense of the S&P, because there's no basically I can't use any analysis to make sense of the S&P 500 going all-time high. So it's just like Donald Trump approaching all these billionaires. Okay, we have to push up the US stocks market, and in a way that is going to benefit those billionaires as well. So Donald Trump have this idea of giving $1,000 per newborn babies in the US to specifically invest into the S&P 500. And of course, like all these big tech firms, all these basically giant companies in the US is inside the index. So the billionaires are really happy to donate this $1,000 per babies because they know that they're going to eventually benefit from the stocks. So that's why the S&P 500 has been artificially pumping up. And like if you look at the P ratio, like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't justify to how high it goes for its all-time high. Whereas Bitcoin, like, okay, we have regulation support, we have institutions' money, we have Michael Saylor buying billions again in 2026, but like it's not the same backing as for the entire US government and the entire like the president is backing the US stocks market. So it's not on par, I would say.
I don't remember. I remember that I heard about that they will gonna go 1,000 US to each newborn baby to invest in the S&P 500. This is really in effect, or is just still an idea?
Well, they are right now pulling in more billionaires. Like, of course, BlackRock is very strong behind the idea. A lot of billionaires are joining the program right now. I think it's for like newborn baby for between 2025 to 2028. I can't remember exactly, but like newborn babies, they're gonna have $1,000, and then they can cash out when they reach the age of 18.
Excellent. Yes, interesting. Yes. And talking about again the shutdown, I think that this was triggered because, of course, I think that when we had the previous shutdown last year, there was like an alternate. They didn't fix it, but they made an extension up to January 31st. And now some Democrats are saying that they will not approve the budget because of all the expenses that Donald Trump is doing with the border thing and with the ICI thing that they are doing. Do you think that this is something more political from the Democrat side, or is something different, something else that the budget is not approved?
I mean, it's always politics overrule everything, right? That's just how the US works. And like I don't know, like sometimes I feel really sick and tired of the US politics because it's just like one party blaming for the other and kicking the cans down the road. Like okay, that there are certain stuff that I like about Donald Trump, like when it comes to crypto, or maybe like the whole Venezuela decision capturing the president. Okay, this is very controversial, but like if I were American, then this is a really good decision because Donald Trump is really putting America first. But like, yeah, I mean, both Republican and Democrats, they like to put the blame on the other party. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to shutdown, no, it's always political. And right now, like because of the whole murder from the immigration officer, so like there is more chaos going on, and I guess just how politics works.
Yes, I think that if you don't understand the United States politics, that they are one and the other blaming each other, is because you don't know Argentinian politics. The Argentinian politics are exactly the same. Both parties are like the arguing with the other is a little bit complicated. But yeah, talking about what can happen, usually the shutdown brought different outcomes for Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Usually, for example, in the past, there was followed by drop in the prices, but other times were followed by pumping in the prices. So we don't know what this can trigger to the markets that are really crazy, by the way. But okay, let's see if this gets solved and the things go back to normal, if we can talk about normal about the US politics. So let's go to the next slide that I have, and this is something that I want to discuss. The history of 2008 is repeating. Gold hits an all-time high of over 5,000K, 5K. Silver hits another all-time high of more than 100 US dollars. And this is not a recession anymore. We are on the verge of a huge collapse of the US dollar. Do you think, and this is something that I really think, is that the gold and the silver are the canaries on the coal mine for the US dollar? Do you see that this is just a market movement, or we really are seeing a big collapse of the US dollar?
I mean, we have been talking about a collapse of the fiat currency for years, and I mean, the purchasing power, of course, for fiat dollars or any fiat currencies in the world, they only go down, but it depends on how rapid it goes down, the rate of its devaluating, right? So this is one thing I think about, because like, okay, we are in Bitcoin, like of course it's great because like long-term wise we know that Bitcoin gonna go up in value against the USD. It's just like everything becomes cheaper for us. But like, yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like people like to take it a notch up or exaggerate a little bit, because like out of all the currencies in the world, USD is still the strongest, and US economy is still strongest like compared to Europe, because Europe is so shit right now. Like Europe, there's no coming back, and even China. Okay, China is doing a little bit better than Europe, but like US is still is the leader in the whole world. But like in terms of gold going up, because like geopolitics, I would say is a key factor, because like everyone, like especially with Donald Trump, he's so unpredictable. Like the thing with Donald Trump is that whatever he say out loud, usually that's the stuff he's not going to do. Like people like to make fun of him, tackle like Trump always chicken out. I mean, in a way, is right and wrong, because whenever he say out some tariffs, he always back off. But like when he decided to do some actual stuff that he's planning, he usually doesn't tell the public. Like for example, like Venezuela, like I feel like he's trying to use Truth Social and whatever he's tweeting to create noise, just so the attention shift, and then he could do other stuff. So like he kind of deliberately make the market think he is unpredictable. But like at the end of the day, he did capture the Venezuelan president. So geopolitics, like between countries, the tension is rising. So it makes sense for gold to reach all-time high. And for Bitcoin, I think the narrative eventually going to catch up, like the narrative of digital gold. But like, since Bitcoin is still so young, is less than 2 decades old, so the narrative is constantly shifting. Like whenever Bitcoin price goes up, and then people will be like, okay, this is digital gold. But like when it goes down, then people are like, this is still a volatile asset. It's some internet magic money after all. So yeah, narratives always switch. So that's why I believe narratives follow price.
Oh, what I think that is happening with the gold and the silver, and probably what will trigger related to Bitcoin in the upcoming months, is that we see with what's there are many connections. One is the thing that is happening in Japan. Japan bond yield is going up because bonds are selling by crap, and United States wants to save Japan by printing a huge amount of dollars and buying Japanese yen. Similar what happened last year in Argentina. Argentina was through a big like banking run. I don't know how to say in English, but through just before the midterm elections, and United States went and bought Argentinian pesos with US dollar. In the case of Japan, to save Japan, I think that they need to buy a lot more of Japanese gem. What it means that United States needs to turn on the printer. On the other side, we see China that has a commercial surplus of over 1 trillion US dollar per year. So, and what used to do China in the past? China used to buy US bonds. But now, when the US dollar is worthless day by day, China is buying gold as if there was no tomorrow. In fact, other country, Poland, that is an ally of United States, they are gonna increase their gold reserves. I don't know in how many tons, but a huge amount of gold they are gonna buy. On the other side, silver is a key component on AI microchips. So what I think that this is a mix between what AI needs, between the upcoming printing that United States are going to do, and of course this triggers gold going up. Usually, and I listened this from Jack Mullers, and he's right, the pre-printing is absorbed by the gold. When there is gonna come a print of money, golds react first. Bitcoin reacts after the printing. So I think that for many Bitcoiners, now the narrative in Twitter and on the markets, they are a little bit frustrated because gold is doing all-time hikes. They are like increasing the market cap like in 5 trillion in just a couple of months, while Bitcoin is flat or going down. But I think that gold going up is good news for Bitcoin, because again, it shows that the big print is coming, and when a big print is coming, this will trigger Bitcoin price to go up. And as you said, Bitcoin is still a young asset. Nobody understands it 100%. So that's why the uncertainty. But on my side, I think that gold going up is good news for Bitcoin, because I do believe that we are seeing the collapse of the US dollar as a global reserve. In fact, in the last week in Davos World Economic Forum, the Canadian Prime Minister said, and he was a central banker before, said that the rules, the world as we know it, now it's over. So the rules have changed. And also, I think, I don't know who from United States say that, but they also said that this game of dollar as a global reserve is over. So let's see what's going on. I don't know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, we know it's going down, but maybe it takes, I don't know, more than a decade for us to see that it really collapsed for USD. Maybe longer than that, but yeah, it's heading that direction, I guess.
I think it's gonna take shorter, because again, I think when an asset like gold and silver, if you see the graphics, they look like meme coins graphics, and we are talking about assets that have been here for thousands of years, that have a huge market cap. For example, in the past, they used to say, okay, Bitcoin cannot move so fast now because the market cap is big. But the market cap of Bitcoin is like nothing, is a fraction compared to the market cap of gold. So I think that something huge is happening. And this is good for gold. This is good for Bitcoin. But this is not good if you are not into Bitcoin. In my case, I think Bitcoin. Gold is probably a temporary asset. but I think that something bigger is happening behind. I think that we are witnessing the collapse of the dollar. I'm not going to say that dollar is going to be like the Venezuelan Bolivar, but dollar as a world reserve currency, I think that we are seeing that. And as an economist, I am so excited to be living through this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very volatile time right now, I would say.
So, and let's move to the last slide that I have, that I'm sure you're going to like it because talks about Tesla. Tesla Robotaxi fares crash the competition. Robotaxi fare for 5.4 miles. Tesla Robotaxi, $11.62 US. Waymo, $27 US. Uber, with tip included, $23.24 US. To put everyone in context, last week, Tesla Robotaxi started moving without supervision. Previous to that week, the insurance companies and the regulator, they request that the robotaxi should go with a guy, not sit in the driving seat, but in the other seat. But since last week, I think that 240 robotaxis, now they are allowed to go without any supervision. So the robotaxi era finally started, and the Tesla stock went really up. What do you think about the Tesla robotaxi?
Yes, I mean, I haven't tried a Tesla robotaxi in Hong Kong, but I have tried the what is it called? Like driving on the self-driving. Sorry, the self-driving feature of Tesla, and it was great. Like initially, like the first few minutes, I was really worried. I was like constantly trying to adjust, and then like I got used to it, and it's like the best feeling ever. This is I think this is gonna be the future for sure. So Robotaxi, I'm really bullish. That's why I have been a long-term holder for Tesla, and so far it's been rewarding quite well for Tesla stocks holder.
Yes, I think that what Tesla what is doing now is that the robotaxi shows that the future is here. But you cannot use. Did you use self-driving here in Hong Kong, or it's not? Because I think it's not allowed.
Yeah, certain parts of Hong Kong is allowed, though it's not like a very long distance.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I thought that in Hong Kong was not allowed, and I heard that robotaxis, they are testing them. But again, we tested the robotaxi a few months ago in Shenzhen, but not Tesla.
Yes, but like Tesla right now is I think doing this on scale, right?
Yeah, the difference with, for example, I think that the taxi that we rode in Shenzhen was more like like Waymo, that they have like sensors, they have this satellite that is guiding, but it's not like Tesla. Tesla is like having a man, a human driving, but it's an AI. So Tesla has 8 cameras, and with these 8 cameras and the AI, it's driving, like making decisions. For example, if you pick up, I think that the pony taxi that we took in Shenzhen and we bring here to Hong Kong, for sure it's not going to work because it's programmed to drive in Shenzhen, because here they don't have the satellite and everything. But if you bring a Tesla robotaxi in Hong Kong, for sure they will be able to drive in Hong Kong, because it's like if, I don't know, if I pick you and I brought you to you come with me to Buenos Aires and you drive in Buenos Aires, you can drive because you are not pre-programmed only to drive in Hong Kong. So that's what the Tesla robotaxi does. And another thing that I heard is that the robotaxi, there are already studies that the accidents per mile, and I think that per million miles, I think that the robotaxi, the ratio of accidents per million miles is 2.64. So that's the robotaxi has 2.64 accidents per million miles. The humans have 4 accidents per million miles. So it shows that the robotaxi is even better than the human. And I also heard that there is an insurance company that if you put the self-driving feature in your Tesla, it will reduce your cost of insurance at half of the price. So I don't know if you heard about that.
I mean, that's interesting, but it makes sense because like there are so many car accidents, and not gonna lie, I've been in Hong Kong for a very long time, so like I know how the taxi drivers in Hong Kong, how they drive, and they are very aggressive. Let's just put it that way, and they can drive really fast. And for Shenzhen, because like since we did the robotaxi in Shenzhen, so I could compare the taxi drivers between Shenzhen and Hong Kong a little bit. Like, okay, Hong Kong taxi drivers, they drive really fast and aggressive, whereas Shenzhen taxi drivers, they would just like they would just like jump to your lane without giving any signal, and they are so packed, and everyone is doing the same thing. I wouldn't feel secure if I'm driving in Shenzhen. And last time, because like we did the robotaxi, and it was the first time being in a taxi in Shenzhen where I feel safe. That is that like usually okay, if I am in a taxi in Shenzhen, if I'm not staying at the road, that I wouldn't feel like too scared, because it's not like constantly stopping, make you want to puke. But like if I was actively looking at the road, then I would be scared the living shit out of myself, because like I'm very amazed by how people drive in Shenzhen. But like the robotaxi, it made me feel safe and secure for the first time.
Remember then after the robotaxi, we took a Uber or a Didi, because in China there is no Uber, and almost crashed 2 times.
Yes. Yeah, like I don't know, like I drive around in Hong Kong every single day, but like driving in Shenzhen, I would say it's another level. So yeah, robotaxi, especially in Shenzhen, I'll feel safer than an actual human driving.
Yeah, I'm sure that here in Hong Kong the taxi drivers are crazy. Plus they have like all these mobile phones. They drive watching the they for those who don't see us from Hong Kong, if you go in a taxi, the taxi driver probably has like 4 different mobile phones. One is the GPS. The other, he's investing in the stock market. The other, he's gambling on the horse race. The other, he's speaking to their family. I am lying or not?
No. I mean, I have seen even worse, like more than 4 screens. But like, they usually they have they run different stations or like groups, and each of these taxi groups, they were trying to get customers, right? So like a lot of these phones are for contacting customers. So they are constantly looking at different groups, maybe in Uber, so Uber taxi, and then maybe some customers would call them, and then they would go to the what do you call, like a postcard station to try to see if anyone interested in going from spot A to spot B, that's destination. So that's why they have constantly so many screens and so many phones, and yet they drive so fast, especially at night. Like they drive like more than 130 or 140 kilometer. I'm not sure if you've been to taxis like that, but like
Yes.
I experience that all the time in Hong Kong. So and other downside of Hong Kong taxis is that the taxi drivers, they tend to be senior, and they drive very like aggressive and very dangerously, and most of the majority of the car accidents, it was caused by taxi drivers in Hong Kong. So yeah, I'd much
Yes.
rather be in a robotaxi where I can feel safe.
Of course, this is something that we have to change, because the other day I was talking with a friend, and she was telling me, no way I go to a robotaxi. And I say, but you are not scared of flying on a plane? And she said, no, I'm not scared of flying. So 95% of the time, the plane is flown by the autopilot. That is not even an AI. It's a hard-coded computer that follow rules. And if there is a problem, it disconnects. So the robotaxi, what we need to think is that it's being driven by like a human, like a machine that makes decisions, that has the same and better than a human. And another thing that the robotaxis is that the intelligence of the drivers, of the AI drivers, it improves by double every, I think, 28 months or 26 months. So every 26 months, the skills improve by double. So if today we have 2.6 accidents every 1 million miles, probably in a couple of months, we're going to have half of that. So it's going to be improving until there will be, of course, you are not going to get rid of accidents, because probably mechanic problems happen. Probably, I don't know, some people walking cross to the and get hit by the car, but not because of the error of the driver. So that's amazing. And on the other side, it shows that AI now is taking over, and we are gonna start living in a different world, especially with robotaxis, with these Optimus bots. Have you heard about the Optimus?
Yeah, the humanoid robot, you mean?
Yeah, the human robot. They are doing now tasks for at home. They clean at home. Would you ever hire or buy an Optimus to do the task on your house as a helper?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yes, yes. So that's all what I wanted to discuss today, about the goal, about the shutdown, about the robotaxi. So I hope you guys enjoy. We didn't talk too much about price. It's not today, but I hope you enjoyed this news. And again, thank you very much, Jamie. How's your social media so the people can follow you?
Yes, so my Instagram is gemcrypto, and then my Twitter is gemcrypto_IO.
Excellent. And you do your show on YouTube every day, 4 p.m. Hong Kong time.
Oh yes, my YouTube as well. you know myself better than I do.
So your YouTube is also James and Crypto.
Yes.
Excellent. So Jamie, thank you very much for being here. See you next time.
Okay, see you next week.
And if you like the episode, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, follow Jamie on social media, so we can paint the world orange. See you next week with another episode with Jamie. Bye-bye.